Hi people, Marino Ravenberg here again. Like the header says, in this video I'll simply give people a reminder in relation to thinking about yourself, okay? And that's why the header of this video says it's okay to be selfish. A lot of people, a lot of people, they go through events in life or in their lives they have to compromise, especially people that, for example, live together with others, such as married couples, people that have children, and they compromise to the point where they sacrifice a good deal of their own personal wishes and needs and aspirations and desires, what have you, just for the sake of either keeping the peace or because they feel like they're being selfish, or better yet, accused of being selfish and only thinking about themselves. And yeah, there's no other way to say it. It's not just okay to be selfish, it's recommended. I personally would recommend anyone out there practically to, generally speaking, be selfish. I'm not saying that self-sacrifice isn't warranted every now and then, but it all depends. If you, for example, have children, then yeah, and you want what's best for them, you love your children, and you're willing to, then it's normal, okay? Recommended even that you sacrifice a certain portion of your own wishes or your own conveniences in life just for the sake of accommodating them, as long as you want to. It all comes down to a personal choice, but from a neutral perspective and as well as in general overall, you need to be selfish. Because every imaginable thing relating to existence points to that. Point one, you live for yourself, you don't live for others. It's your life. Everything reflects back to you. You exist as a being in the universe. So it's obviously, it goes without saying, needlessly almost, that you need to focus on yourself, your own well-being first. Point two, if you're not focusing on your own well-being to the point where you can stand on your own 2 feet, metaphorically speaking as well as literally, then you're not really in a position to help others. It's throwback to the saying, if you can't help others, how do you intend on helping yourself? Which is true, literally and figuratively. If you can't take care of yourself, or if you don't have all your ducks in a row, then you're not really in a position or capable of being in a position in general to help others. And it just goes on and on and on. Okay, all of this stuff is just off the top of my head. Common sense states that you should be selfish. But the thing is that society has turned the phrase selfish and the notion of selfishness and egocentrism and being egotistical overall into something negative. And the way that society has I want to say programs it, or has arranged things relating to this subject matter in such a way, society has done so in such a way that that the general consensus is that the general consensus within society is that you need to think of yourself and not just that you need to think of others and not just of yourself, or not of yourself, which is absolute nonsense. Again, it's another one of those so-called cows in society, that is being passed off as being sacred when it's nothing but a crock of crap. It's really nothing but hogwash. It's absolute nonsense, okay? It's absolute bullshit, end of story. And yeah, I would recommend anyone, be selfish. Be as selfish as you can possibly be. If you want to make self-sacrifices, check yourself to simply see if it's something that you want. Regardless, whether it's for your own children, your own offspring, whatever the reason may be. The question is, when it comes to self-sacrifice, giving up part of your own convenience and so on, do I want this? Do I want to do this from my own heart? Is it something that I want to do? And like I said, society has basically conditioned people to the point where being selfish is frowned upon. People that are selfish and think of themselves are seen as bad people. They're seen as malevolent members of society, or at the very least semi-malevolent members of society. Bottom line is it's frowned upon, and obviously that's nonsense because it should be the exact opposite. But yeah, you know what society is like. I don't have to say anything. A lot of misconceptions out there, and this is one out of so many. Okay, the likes of which I've covered multiple on my channel. Bottom line is, yeah, be egotistical. Think of yourself as much as possible because you live for yourself. You don't live for others. You're not gonna live forever in a material plane, and I don't think you want to spend it, you know, just focusing and thinking of others. Keep in mind that I'm speaking in a general mundane context, okay? I'm not speaking within a divine context and any of that stuff. I've already discussed that. That's simply a reference to the meaning of existence, which, long story short, equals that comes down to self-sacrificing or self-sacrifice. It just boils down to self-sacrifice. And how self-sacrifice in that context is the pathway to heaven, so to speak, or to eternal life. But that, again, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm speaking about simply in a mundane context, okay, within the scope of mundane living. For us as human beings, within global society, primarily urban areas, you name it, okay, people, especially people living in the city, not only is it okay to be selfish, you need to not only be selfish, you need to be selfish as much as possible. Like I said, even when it comes to the divine, from an occult perspective, it all comes down to a personal choice. This is, of course, not including the fact that free will doesn't exist, but aside from that, that's set aside. It all comes down to a personal choice, if you want to. Bottom line is you reap what you sow, and if you really want to self-sacrifice, then yeah, go ahead, by all means. But you need to be able to stand on your own 2 feet first, and you need to have all of your ducks in a row. You need to be competent mentally, physically, and in every sense of the word before you can help someone else. The bottom line is you need to focus on your own existence, okay? Instead of actually believing the bullcrap that society likes to stigmatize people with, that you need to think of others and you need to make sacrifices and you need to be charitable and all that stuff. Keep in mind that I'm also not referring to inappropriate behavior as in, okay, I'm just going to throw my garbage alongside the street because I'm selfish. Only a dunce would actually connect those dots. Only someone that's ridiculously stupid would actually stoop to that level. When I say be selfish, I mean focus on your own life, your own existence, your own well-being, your own needs, your own wishes, your own desires, as in what do I want out of life, what do I want? From the smallest things to, hey, what do I want for dinner, to the biggest things, as in what kind of house do I want to live in, do I want to live in this country, etc., etc., etc. You need to focus on yourself, okay, for reasons I've already mentioned. You live for yourself, you don't live for others. You live for yourself, you exist for yourself, for your own sake. It's your existence after all. And you need to keep that in mind. See you guys later. Bye.